Hello everybody, welcome to the Popcorn Podcast. I am Samuel. Today I'm joined by
Lucy,
Emma,
Mamu.
Well, that was a nice start. So today we'll be talking about Halloween, the scariest night of the year. Now there are many movies that have been based off of this holiday. It is fun, it is spooky, and we'll be talking quite a bit about that in this podcast.
Yeah, I see you've got some questions there. I haven't had sight of them yet.
No,
Alright, so we have around 6, maybe 7. Let's go straight into number 1. This is a question for everyone here. Have you always celebrated Halloween? For instance, did you celebrate it as your childhood, or is it only just
Halloween
come into
literally meant
fashion?
nothing to me until I had kids. So for me, it's very, very recent.
It's mainly because I'm obsessed with this.
See, I'm the opposite, and I'm surprised by that because we're both from London, and being in Greenwich as a kid, it was all about Halloween. And every year we had parties and we bobbed for apples and we trick-or-treated and we had full costumes. And it's been an integral part of my life since I was a kid.
The trick is you have to get the little stem on top of the apple, get it out of your teeth, and then just put it out.
I mean, I could spend an entire podcast in talking about what's wrong with apple bobbing, but, you know.
Well, we're not going to do that. We're not gonna listen to it.
No, and then, especially for having kids, it's kind of reinforced that. And then living in New York for a few years, and New York does Halloween better than anywhere.
Definitely.
It was incredible
Also,
there.
Because obviously it's a big thing there.
Yeah.
Not so much here.
Emma, you need to drop a few names from your Halloween Brooklyn experience.
So every year we would go to Steve Buscemi's and he would give out candy to my daughter. And it's the same now in Broadley. It's the streets on Halloween are just filled with children. And it's such a celebration.
Yeah.
And we start planning. So we do our Halloween window. So I'm talking lots now. We do our Halloween window from the 1st of October. Everybody in the house is making decorations, putting them up throughout the month and planning our costumes.
I get really excited when decorating the house because this is literally the only holiday that I get to decorate the house. Like with Christmas, it has to be neat and tidy. For Easter, it isn't that chaotic. But I have all of this Halloween stuff, which is so unnecessary, but I like it. So it's my time to just stuff everything on the walls.
And we had a great Halloween last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think we've identified the 2 Halloween fans at the table. I'm more with Lucy. I'd never really celebrated it much as a kid. I was more into Bonfire Night, and the night before Halloween, which I don't know if it's a thing anymore, was called Mischief Night. And you could go and basically play tricks on your neighbours, such as
That's Halloween.
Knock and
it's
run.
trick or treat.
no, but Mischief Night. You didn't even ask.
You didn't have the treat.
have the
It was
treat.
just all about the trick.
Yeah, it was all about the menace. And we
Tell
never.
us,
So
tell us some of your menacing.
we used to put sellotape on the doorbell so it would keep ringing. That was a classic. It only worked on certain doorbells.
They had to make their own fun in the north.
And you'd just run away.
Them out with their sellotape on the 30th of October.
To be honest, we didn't really do many mischiefs either. We usually did it on people we knew, each other's parents.
That's weird. As a child, I didn't really go trick-or-treating. I normally went to my grand's house. She dressed me up. One year I went as a mummy. It was pretty good. And then a few years later, when I actually did go trick-or-treating, I dressed up as a Sonic the Hedgehog monster, known as Werehog. Yeah. And then after that, I dressed up as an Ice Warrior from Doctor Who. The year after that, I didn't go trick-or-treating, but I did dress up as Shaun from
That
Shaun
was a
of the
great
Dead.
costume.
And this year I am planning on going as Agent Smith from The Matrix.
Now, see, it's interesting that you say that because that sort of leads me on to think about what are we classing in this as horror films?
And scary movies.
Yeah, because but The Matrix isn't scary. So is that? I mean, it's
Well, actually, you could argue it's the most scary because if that's the dystopian future that we're heading towards, that's terrifying.
So I mean, back to that question.
What makes a movie a Halloween movie?
Yeah.
Is that what we're
So
talking about?
I prefer psychological scariness rather than gross body horror scariness. But then there's also the sci-fi thing, and is that horror? So I think we need to define what we think horror is before.
Before that, I have a question. What do you mean by psychological horror?
So things that could technically happen. So I think what you're saying is something like, say, a Freddy Krueger isn't real, isn't reality.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody that goes around killing people, that's a human being, could happen. And therefore that's more psychological,
Like
more
Halloween.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Halloween was about a mass murderer.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Is it like Michael?
Mike
Michael
Myers.
Myers.
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
Yeah. But also, not necessarily could happen, because like something like Rosemary's Baby, I mean, I guess someone could give birth to the devil, but we'll soon not. But the whole film is predicated on this woman cracking up based on the gaslighting that's going on around her.
Yes.
So that's
So the gaslighting is
gaslighting
real.
is key. I think
It's scarier when it's more real.
Well, I mean, part of my problem with scary films and why I get scared is when I was younger, we would tell each other all these stories of things that apparently people watched on TV at ridiculous
Or
o'clock.
friends.
I find them more scary than blood
Campfire
and guts.
stories are always more spooky and shivery. You know,
Because
like
you're in the middle of nowhere.
and just the telling of a story fires your imagination possibly more than seeing it.
Yeah.
So if someone told you about a film, sometimes it can sound better than, and when you get to see it, you'd be like, I'm a bit disappointed in that actually. I thought it was going to be, the way I saw it was better.
So you two watched this ridiculous thing the other morning, didn't you?
It wasn't actually that scary. So the movie Salem's Lot.
Oh my God.
It's not
TV
scary.
miniseries.
Stephen King.
Came in and saw a little kid tapping on the window, and then she got freaked out.
I did freak out.
So is this the new version that's come out?
No.
It's coming to
It's-
cinema.
It's the original.
Right. Okay.
David Soul.
to be fair, it did freak me out.
Yeah, but why? I mean, it's just a vampire. You're fine with vampires. You watch Buffy.
Yeah, but this was like a sort of a kid face looking all weird and
Yeah, no,
smiley.
Salem's Lot. I mean, Stephen King does the eerie well.
Oh, that's another
I must
word,
say
eerie.
it hadn't aged very well, I must admit.
I didn't find it scary at all.
But
Like, with
you
the
didn't have
kid-
to walk anywhere after watching it. You didn't watch it at night. You watched it on a Sunday
north.
morning.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with Mamu still. It's 45. I get spooked.
Yeah.
They were owls.
Oh, hang on, no, don't get me started on owls.
Yeah.
This would,
my God.
move into a whole Twin Peaks podcast and the reasons why I'm so screwed up.
So,
Where do we begin?
I actually have to say this. I asked Mummy why you were so scared of it, and then she said the horse in the living room freaked her out.
Oh God, yes, that horse. We've been talking about that horse for over 20 years.
Oh, yes.
Why? It's just a horse in the living room apparently freaked you out so much that you got terrified by it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we feel about sci-fi horror? Because Sammy mentioned The Matrix. He's dressing up.
Well, it
As
isn't
Mr.
exactly a horror.
I think you could count it because it is, like I said, it's that dystopian future. Something like 12 Monkeys, for instance.
Yeah,
I
I know.
know.
See, when you're saying sci-fi horror, to me, what's the one with Sam Neill on the spaceship where they all start to go? He starts to go insane. What's it called?
I think dystopian movies have their absolute own genre. I don't think dystopian movies should be built into horror at
I
all.
wouldn't.
But it's what scares you. So as a kid,
Like
you
you've-
could be totally freaked out by an ape on a horse because of Planet of the Apes.
But you would, but
No, I wouldn't.
you
I
would
wouldn't,
never
no,
bring that into
no.
a horror film. So it's not about what scares you. And
Event Horizon.
Event Horizon.
Yes.
Yeah. Dystopian things should be off the table. Obviously, Samuel can dress up as whoever he likes. But for this conversation, I don't think dystopian movies should
I
be in
wouldn't
that.
put dystopian carte blanche or sci-fi carte blanche, but they might be instances of them that are.
Yeah. I'm thinking more along the lines of obviously Alien. That is the definitive sci-fi horror.
I would actually see that as a horror sci-fi.
It is science fiction,
The first movie...
first and foremost.
Yeah,
but
the first movie, not so much. The second movie got a bit more vicious. In the third movie, there was more blood. And in the fourth movie, let's not talk about that.
well, I think they actually talk about them as, I think the first one is sci-fi horror, the second is sci-fi war film.
It's a bit like what they did with Rogue One and things like that and
Yeah.
Solo. So
Yeah.
you had your heist film, you had your
I
war
think-
films.
I think horror, the whole point is It's about movies that are intending to scare you.
But the story could be
And
anything.
so a sci-fi movie isn't necessarily that by nature, but it's something that the whole intention is to scare.
Do we all agree with that? Because I think that should be our sort of parameter.
Yeah. Let's move on to the third question. What was your favourite scary film when you were younger? What scared you, but you really enjoyed?
I think I enjoyed all horror films, whether they scared
Salem's
me
Lot.
or not. Salem's Lot was one, but I used to watch...
You were like me. We used to watch things way before we should.
Yes.
Like when we were kids.
Well, we had a video recorder. So once we got a video recorder, when I was about 11 or 12, Channel 4 had just started, and they were showing the Hammer horror films late at night. But obviously you could record them, and then I'd watch them when I got in from school. So they were things like the Dracula, Frankenstein, and Zoltan, Hound of Dracula.
Pit and a Pendulum.
Lots of not very good films, to be truthful, but I liked them because, like you say, you weren't really supposed to be watching them,
Yeah.
and watching anything on video was a thrill then, because that was such an exciting thing to do. I know you might find it hard to
Loads
believe.
of people my generation will be laughing in your face.
How many will say, what's a video?
Well, I would also say watching a film was
more exciting back then.
Yeah, we
because
didn't
it wasn't
do it
something
very
you did.
often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Video.
You would have to go to the video shop and
the
rent
video
it
brought
out
the
and,
film
yeah.
into the house. Before then, they weren't always on telly, and if they were on late. You wouldn't get to see them.
And we couldn't have gone into the cinema to see some of these things because we were too young to see them even when they were coming out.
I remember walking home from school with someone a bit older than me who'd seen The Fog. And the whole way of walking home, she described The Fog. And I tell you what, I woke up with nightmares for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, but the idea of ghost pirates and things is fascinating, and it's kind of much more scary concept if you were to describe it than it is to actually watch it. 'cause
But I'll say something in terms of science. For instance, if you're watching Cujo, like alone or something, and you own a dog, you'll be terrified. But if you watch it at day with someone else and you don't own a dog,
yeah.
be like,
So anyone who says Blair Witch isn't scary, I'd say, okay, watch it in the middle of the woods.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But the thing about Blair Witch was it was the first time it was so seminal because we hadn't done that in cinema before.
Yeah.
And nobody knew the actors and nobody had this thing of, is it real, isn't it real?
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
wasn't it
was
found footage?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, it was like one of the first found footage.
It was just around the beginning of, well, not beginning of the internet, because that's 70s, but in terms of internet becoming more widespread and accessible at home. I remember being a website about Blair Witch. It's one of the first websites I ever really visited, and it was fascinating, the detail it went into about basically setting it up as a real life event.
If someone nowadays would have a really detailed look into Blair Witch and see if there was any editing, because obviously at the time, if it was edited, it could have been a lot more easy to notice at this time.
It was very convincing because there was just only
Very
one camera.
convincing.
If they were running, they would just be running holding the camera, and their thing was just to keep
God,
recording.
I felt sick during that. Just the motion sickness of it all.
You get freaked out by a horse in the lounge, and you also get freaked out.
Sammy, have you seen Blair Witch?
No,
he hasn't.
Because I absolutely believe you would find it scary regardless.
and he won't be watching it for any
No, it is
time
scary.
soon.
No, I do think
It is
is
scary.
definitely
The
scary.
things we've let you watch are fantastical. No, but they're otherworldly, so they are
And I can
set in
just-
space or aliens or monsters.
But this is an interesting point because on Friday, because it's October, all of our Friday movie nights at home with Matilda, who's 9, are going to be Halloweeny themed. And I couldn't find one to hand, but I found Jaws, and I was like, well, if she's never watched Jaws, this is incredible. We're going to do Jaws because there is a scariness, there is a scare. So technically, by our definition, horror.
I love
The
Jaws.
first time he saw Jaws, he got so scared of it, he was scared that a shark would be in his wardrobe.
What I would say is, what I had seen and had scared me was a monster movie. Whether it was a shark or something in space, it was a monster movie. So when I went to bed, I checked my wardrobe
Oh my God.
because I was scared of the monsters.
My grandparents went on a Caribbean cruise when I was young, and I'd watched E.T. And I swear down, even though it's a family movie, seeing him white,
don't.
by the lake, it was really scary.
Heartbreaking, not scary.
Anyway, my grandparents go on this Caribbean cruise, and they bring me back an E.T. teddy, this incredibly ugly, scary teddy. that was living in my room. And so I used to live on a chair, and to your point, I would have to turn it around at night. And some nights I would go to bed and I would have to put all my limbs under the duvet, like not have a foot out in case this ET like attacked my limbs. Okay, there is one that stands out above all others, but it was the Freddy movies.
Oh.
And specifically the Freddy movie where they're in the hospital.
Well, interestingly, I'll come on to it later, but Freddy is a big thing for me. So, yeah.
And Poltergeist was a big thing for me as a kid.
Okay,
I used
Poltergeist.
to always watch Poltergeist as a
I
kid.
might say Poltergeist then is my favourite scary movie
Yeah.
from a kid.
What's
Because
Poltergeist?
funny
Carol
enough,
Ann.
I didn't find it scary. I loved it. Sammy, what about you?
Well, I quite enjoyed Goosebumps when I was younger. I found it a really fun movie.
It's great.
I also
Is that Jack Black?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Was it scary?
It is scary.
it's scary.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the zombie bit was. Whenever I watched it at night, I always had to skip that bit.
Yeah. Sammy's
At
not
the-
good with zombies
At the time,
generally.
I wasn't good with zombies. My other options are maybe like Gremlins, because I remember.
Hang
being-
on.
Gremlins is great.
Gremlins is a Christmas film. It is not a horror film.
Oh, well, this is interesting.
It's about tiny
because I think
monsters.
it's both.
No,
It is a horror film.
it's a Christmas film.
It's both.
Okay, right. Then
It is scary.
if that's what we agree.
And it's got the
For
body
kids.
horror.
Yeah.
It's got the food mixer and the microwave.
Oh, I like that bit.
That is. Yeah.
Is Gremlins
Spike, the little Hellraiser that he
Is
was.
Gremlins
Let's
considered
put
a
it
horror
politely.
movie?
Okay, so we'll
It's
say
scary.
it's a horror
Yeah,
movie set at
fantasy,
Christmas.
comedy, horror.
Horror.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
That's the thing. Things can be multiple, right?
But I think the best horror films, by and large, are the funny ones.
Yeah.
It is true, like Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead,
Like Ash.
American Werewolf. These are by far the best
Yeah.
horror
But
films.
I keep
Because the
arguing
stories are
with this.
good, the characters are great, and the laughter kind of
Yeah.
gives you a sense of comfort, but it doesn't stop it scaring the pants out of you, and it's meant to.
How is American Werewolf in London funny?
It's totally funny. You compare that to
It's
something like
about a werewolf munching on someone,
yeah.
becomes dead and starts stalking his friend.
But their
Yeah.
conversations are quite witty. It's not an out-and-out comedy, but it
And
has...
a head bobbing across the
Oh,
car.
that is quite funny.
it's funny.
Right, well, we've stated a lot on this question.
When
We
he's
have
trying to get arrested
many
in
more.
Let's just find
Trafalgar
out.
Square, that is funny.
Stop. Quick recap. What was your favourite scary movie as a child? Mummy.
I would say Poltergeist, but to be honest,
Yeah.
nothing.
Emma?
The Freddy's and Poltergeist for sure.
No time for you to explain.
As a child, I'd say The Thing.
Nice.
X-Files did a very good thing revival.
My three options are Gremlins, Goosebumps, and probably Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Right, so to continue on the fourth question, what's your favourite scary movie now?
It's a tough one for me because two of my favourite films, well, three of my favourite films could qualify as horror films, being as three of my favourite films are Alien,
Jaws.
and American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
So all three of them would not just be my favourite horror films, they would be my favourite films.
Yes. Yeah.
But if I had to go, okay, which one in terms of the horror genre, I would discount Jaws, even though it is a monster movie.
Yeah.
And I would also discount Alien because I think it more of a sci-fi.
Yeah.
So I would go American Werewolf because werewolf is a classic horror trope, and I think it was done brilliantly in terms of the way that the effects were. That the change was done in bright light, which is something they really wanted to do because they hadn't done that before. It's always been like, you know,
In the shadows,
you just see a little bit of a hand, a little bit of a foot, whatever, bit of hair growing. Whereas this was like, I want to see the whole thing in bright light, and we've got Creedence Clearwater Revival playing over the top.
Yeah. That's a really good choice.
Brilliantly
And it
acted.
stood the test of
It's
time.
adorable. Yeah, it's such a good
It's
film.
such a cult.
And it breaks your heart at the end.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And disgusting.
Well, it's got a
He's
bit of body
talking to
horror.
dead people.
Yeah.
People have been eaten alive.
Yeah, but in a funny way.
All right, Sammy, what about you? What's your favourite?
Well, obviously the first one I've ever seen was The Thing. It was really good, but I really enjoyed like the Cornetto trilogy. So, could I say Hot Fuzz? I mean, it's scary. Well, it's scary. I mean, it's like
murder. Yeah, there's
yeah,
a
but
lot
it's
of
a
death.
cult and stuff, and
Yeah.
obviously it's really gruesome.
It is a horror
Yeah,
film.
that's
Now you
what
mention
it's
it.
about.
It is.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
I thought you were going to say Shaun of the Dead.
No, Hot Fuzz is better. It's the best one of the trilogy.
I remember us having this conversation 20 years ago and thinking which was our favourites, and I think my taste has changed over time. One thing I loved about Shaun of the Dead was they called it the zom-rom-com. There is the scary nature and there is the humour, and that's the thing, it's that kind of multiple genres kind of ascending into one place.
Fascinating.
Makes it more powerful.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say about you choosing American Werewolf in London, because it is quite powerful, because there is the real sadness, there's the comedy, there's the horror, there's the everything. You've got something for everyone in American Werewolf
The
in
scene
London.
with Jenny Agutter at the end absolutely knocks me out every time.
Yeah.
And it's similar to, this isn't horror, but it's a good example, Blackadder. The ending of Blackadder Goes Forth is so much more
tragic.
powerful.
Pathos.
Because you're basically watching this sort of goofy, funny thing, and then it suddenly turns
Gets real.
and gets very real.
Well, I think Sammy's choice has really surprised me. I've got to be honest, and I think it's really well thought through, actually.
Like
yeah.
culty, Wicker Man-y type thing, for sure.
Interesting.
Has loads of those vibes.
Well, I would say that like horror and comedy are probably my two favourite genres.
So when
if
you
I
mix
were to
them,
combine them
yeah.
together, it's really good. And I found Hot Fuzz funny. It's just like, considering that there's literally a fence scene in every movie, they should have called it the Fence Trilogy.
Yeah.
My favourite one was just Hot Fuzz, where he jumped over all of them really cool. And then Nick Frost
runs
just
through it.
ran into it. It was just really funny. Plus all the deaths. Like, some of them were insane
Their deaths
and
are
dark,
like-
but some of them were actually so random and funny.
Like the gardener, who did,
Yeah.
was she a florist or a garden shop?
Florist.
Florist. And how did she die?
I think she is in there.
So he's pretty brutal.
That's one of the ones that I was talking about.
Well, perhaps we should send this podcast to Edgar Wright to see how his films are still
Absolutely.
inspiring the youth of today.
Do a fourth movie.
Okay, mine, right. So I would say that I've got a thing about the devil, and maybe it's the weird kind of lapsed Catholicism of my upbringing. The whole devilly things were kind of my favourite ones. So the Omens and Rosemary's Baby and so on, right up until, and of course I think this was 5 minutes ago, but it's 20 years ago really, is Scream. It is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. It is proper scary. There's gross bits. It's funny. The characters are really well drawn. I just think Scream is a phenomenal thing, and what it's so crazy about it is it's based off a plastic mask. Ghostface is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is, based on
Yes, it's based on the
Scream.
But the way it popped up gives me absolute shivers, but it transcends the average scary film and maybe brings back a bit of those kind of more in-depth, better stories of what you were talking about with American Werewolf. I think it's absolutely amazing. So Scream is my favourite film.
What was good about it was how it was very self-aware.
Yeah, the fact that they do the whole ode to all other horror movies, and like, why would you go downstairs by yourself, and why would you leave each other, and
obviously it was directed by Wes Craven, who's a huge fan of the genre, which I think why it works so well.
Okay, so
Emma, funny, so far we've had 3 comedy horrors.
So I'm literally sitting here, I'm really struggling. And then you talked about the whole kind of devil thing for you. And for me, when I was growing up, it was all about vampires. And I think one time someone asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said a vampire. So I was so obsessed with vampire stuff. And The Lost Boys really spoke to me when I was younger. And there's so many incredible
Sammy
movies
has
out there.
recently seen The Lost Boys.
Okay.
What was your
Recently, I
thoughts?
saw it like 2 years ago. It was not good.
Don't be dissing The Lost Boys for girls of our age.
Right, all 3 of you have said movies with your Hot Fuzz, your American Werewolf, and your Scream, and all of them I'm like, I absolutely adore all of those movies. If I had to, I genuinely don't know how to answer this. And I'm going to say a movie that I've seen in recent years that I genuinely loved. And as we're talking about things that transcend the horror genre, I think Get Out by Jordan Peele was incredible. And the fact that there was even Oscar nominations, and that is incredibly rare for the horror. I absolutely loved it and just didn't see where that was going. And so that's one that I'm right now quite passionate about. But everything you've said, and I don't know that I could. I don't know
That is
because
absolutely
like
great
I said,
choice.
I loved all of those. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's a
That's a
really,
struggle.
really interesting choice.
You're essentially saying
Because
what's
that
your
to me
favourite
is
horror movie of all
psychological.
time?
Yeah, that's psychological for me more than it's not body horror or anything like that. Really, is it?
It is. Yeah.
It's
But,
got
and I
gore
think,
at the end.
but still, because it's so sort of steeped in reality, that's what sort of makes it scarier.
Yeah.
Now, next question. This does kind of tie into the past two questions. What is the scariest film you've ever seen? Like, not just your favourite scary film, like actually what terrified you to your very core.
I'm happy to go first on this because I'm genuinely scared about everything. I mean, adverts frighten me, for crying out loud. Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, I must have seen the first half of that film 20 times. And then I get to this certain point in the boiler room, and that was it. I couldn't carry on, I had to stop. So when I was still at university, so must have been 21, 22. Emma, myself and a group of friends decided to have a horror night to try and get me over Nightmare on Elm Street. Get me through, pull me
Tell
through.
me about this. You told me about this.
So we watched The Thing, and we watched a couple of other things, and we watched The Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was like, I can't take it, and I was beside myself. And then I get through that scene, it's like, well, that didn't end up that badly, but nothing has ever made me feel the way I felt when I got to that point in that film. Categorically, Nightmare on Elm Street.
I see like that every day.
So I think about when I was a kid and growing up, and the thing that has given me nightmares, hearing 1, 2, friends coming for you, like, and just that was a prominent point of, like I say, mine and my brother's childhood. That scared me beyond belief.
Does it ever come back to you now? Do you ever sort of...
It doesn't come back to me, but I think it comes back to John, which is hilarious.
I've been like growing up with all of this stuff, considering the very first thing I've ever seen was Classes of 12, Doctor Who.
That's the thing, there's so many scary Doctor Who episodes
Exactly.
that I find as an adult very scary. Like, was it Blink?
Blink is not scary.
I don't find Blink scary either.
The thing is,
but-
we never showed Blink
it's
to him
good.
as a child. He only got to see that for the first time maybe 3-4 years ago.
That's why you should have always shown me these good scary episodes when I was a baby, when I couldn't take in anything.
Well, you did watch a lot of Doctor Who as a baby.
Yeah, I
Well,
became
mine-
obsessed with it.
Your granny would remember that she rang me to ask if you were allowed to watch an episode of Doctor Who, and I said, oh yeah, I'm sure that's fine. I was thinking about the episode, thinking that's not remotely scary. But of course I'd forgotten that was the zombie period for you, and the people
New
in the
Earth.
episode, New Earth, were a bit zombie, and she was not happy because nightmares were had, so I was rightfully told off. Anyway.
But we used to watch even Buffy episode, that Buffy episode where you couldn't speak. That was.
See, funny enough, I never found that scary. I found other ones scarier than that. But yeah, a lot of that people will say that's the best Buffy, scariest Buffy.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was, but
Yeah, it's my favourite
It's very
and probably
scary.
the scariest.
really, it's your favourite.
Yeah,
I'm
I
surprised
really
by
like
that.
the drawing.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Where Buffy's upset by the fact that Giles has drawn her a bit wide. Classic. Okay, so come on, you can think about yours then while we ask Mamu.
Well, see, I've not watched this since, but I found it quite scary at the time. But it was Wolf Creek.
Ooh, I've not seen it,
yeah.
but people talk about this film.
So it's
Australian backpackers.
yeah, it's sort of quite believable, but it's basically psycho killer in the
You
outback.
and your koalas.
I remember watching it, and it was at the time my sister was staying with me because she was working on Corpse Bride, and she came home about halfway through it, and she stood in the doorway of the lounge because she was too scared to come into the lounge and watch it, but she was too compelled to walk away from it. So we
Think she
both
made-
sort of watched it in silence. Her stood in the doorway, me on the sort of edge of my seat, wide-eyed, sort of, oh my God, this is horrendous. But I don't think I found it scary. I just found I was very scared for the characters.
Oh no, but that's very scary because anyone could end up
Yeah,
there.
but
That
I
goes
know,
into
but
that thing about
yeah.
things being really real.
Considering what a wuss I am, I have watched like 11 back-to-back series of the X-Files like 900 times, and you'd be amazed how gruesome and scary the X-Files actually is, because it's often based off a lot of this.
I'm surprised
these
you can
films.
handle this considering that you got scared by a horse in the lounge. I'm never gonna give that up.
But it is. It is.
Wolf Creek, as I say, I've not rewatched it, so it might be a load of rubbish. But I just remember being, suitably unnerved by it.
Okay, Sammy, what's yours then?
What was it you said earlier, Sammy? You said something you had to turn off.
Samuel has a good knowledge of horror films because of the way they were often lampooned in The Simpsons.
In the Treehouse of Horrors episode.
So, yeah, he will know a lot about Psycho without ever actually having seen it. He will recognise the music from Psycho
Because it's instant.
because it's in The Simpsons. So he has a sort of good knowledge of things.
My all-time favourite Simpsons episode is the Cape Fear one with Sideshow Bob, without a doubt, the best ever Simpsons episode.
Is that the one where they're on the boat?
Yes,
They start
absolutely
singing?
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They're singing Gilbert and Sullivan. But anyway, yes, but that isn't the same as seeing the film. So just because you might have a bit of a knowledge about something doesn't mean you're ready for it.
Well, I didn't say that. I was saying for the benefit of the listeners.
Indeed.
If sometimes Samuel sounds knowledgeable of these things, I think that's where he gets a lot of his knowledge. The
Yeah,
films we've watched with him, as I said before, are fantastical monster movies, sometimes with a bit of gore, but he understands what special effects are, and, prosthetics and things are really, something to be admired, I think.
Alright, so I would probably say Alien 4
Which one's Alien 4?
Resurrection.
Resurrection. I love that film.
It was really good. I actually enjoyed it a lot more. It's a lot better than people say.
Oh, it's great.
Is that the one with
Or
Winona
maybe
Ryder?
they need to
Yes.
watch it again.
Rewatch, it's great.
It
Joss
was a-
Whedon script, it's very good. Great story, it's a great film.
Yeah.
But is it scary?
He bites off the top of his head.
Yeah, it's still scary.
Yeah.
Alright, part 2 to this question, which we've kind of already answered in. Does the scariest make it the best?
No.
No,
Oh,
definitely not.
I haven't rewatched Wolf Creek. I've watched American Werewolf at least 10 times.
Well, I would say definitely Bear.
B, you think that scariest makes it
yeah.
the best?
Because, all of this stuff that's happening, it's scary, but I enjoy it for a reason.
It's kind of like going on the roller coaster, I suppose, isn't it?
Kinda. Obviously, I really enjoyed these scary films, like Alien, one of the greatest films I've seen, because it was scary. For instance, my favourite movies, there's certain aspects to it that if those were taken out, I wouldn't like it. Like Alien without the horror. Be like,
So after Aliens came out, I was in my early teens at secondary school, and the place to go was in the West End, a place called the Chocodera.
Oh, I
And it
remember
was
that
like
well.
a big amusement arcade, and they had this thing called the Alien Experience. And what happened was you'd pay your money and you'd go into this thing, and it would say like 30 minutes long. And the whole premise was, I think from memory, you're on board the ship, and the scientists have an alien, but it's been captured and it's in this kind of capsule, and you're supposed to go in to see it. And then what happens is all the alarms start going off and the sirens are going and the alien has escaped, and you're literally running around and you're trying to get in lifts and you're trying to get out of there. And even though you know it's not
wait, this
real,
is in real life?
but you
This
know
is
it's
like a
not
90s
real.
escape room.
Yeah, and then the thing was, we were literally, I was like pushing my friends out of the way to get in the lift. And at one point, I lost like my trainer, and I was like, well, that's that. I'm never going to see it again because I'm going to keep running. And it was so scary. And even though you knew it was fake, being in that immersive moment,
Yeah.
it was so real.
Did they do it like the lights went out and then the
Oh, the
alien
lights were
went
going off. You heard all these screaming and these noises, and
It sounds horrific.
it was incredible.
Sounds great.
It was so good.
I actually really want to see that.
I once
Honestly,
cried
that
when I
is
went
great.
into a cave. Our lives are very different. Okay, so we're on to our little wrap-up question now, which Sammy definitely wanted to talk about.
Yeah, well, what is the best Halloween type songs?
Thriller.
Is that?
Emma's gone thriller.
Well, no, Thriller has to be absolutely a song that we speak about for sure.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
It's got Vincent Price on it.
Exactly. And when it was released, the fact that it was released as a movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a John Landis film to go with Thriller, and he is the director of American Werewolf. So great song,
You can't have a conversation about Halloween songs without having a conversation about Thriller.
And I'm sorry, but the dance moves,
Dance is
the
incredible.
dance moves are amazing,
Incredible.
and it was just everyone in the playground was doing it.
Yeah.
And
the
he,
intro movie bit was so scary.
What do you think of Thriller, Sammy? You've seen it.
I mean, it's good. I don't remember what happens. I mean, I know he dances with zombies, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's at the cinema with his date.
Doesn't he turn into like a werewolf?
Exactly, yeah.
I'm not like other guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah, keep that in.
Memorize that.
Yeah. No, it was great. I mean, everything came together exactly right.
But I'd say any song which has been on a horror soundtrack,
Like Tubular Bells.
Tubular Bells in Exorcist, obviously the American Werewolf soundtrack's really good. Blue Moon, all the different versions of that. As we've said before, Bad Moon Rising.
Did you get into Creedence because of American Werewolf, or did you like American
which
Werewolf
came first?
more because you like Creedence?
I hadn't heard of Creedence when I first saw American Werewolf,
Right.
and I don't think I really connected it until maybe late 80s. And then I did buy Bad Moon Rising on a oldie but goldie sort of reissue 7-inch single, and then I sort of got into the band from there. So yes, I knew the song because of the film.
And so you're more on the soundtrack thing, and like Lost Boys, incredible soundtrack. There were so many incredible songs. Thou shalt not kill.
I would probably say Tubular Bells because last year I learnt it in my music lesson in school, and then we only did it for one lesson, which was annoying because I was like, I swear I've heard that before, and then I realised it was in the Simpsons episode where Maggie gets possessed, and I'm like, so
Again,
I
just
realised.
for the tape, Samuel has not seen it.
But again, it is a song that as soon as it comes on, you know
Yeah.
exactly.
But then in the 2012 Olympics, they used it as part of the opening ceremony, Danny Boyle,
yeah, it
for
was.
when the kids, the NHS bit, the kids are all in the bed and they're getting the scary story, and then all the monsters start coming out, the big Voldemort and the big Captain Hook. So again, it's like even becomes zeitgeist in terms of
It's known for horror.
scary.
Yeah.
So it's transcended just that scary
I think
film.
even the music on Halloween, the sort of piano thing, almost imitates it, doesn't it? Dinging, ding, dinging, ding, dinging, dinging, ding, ding, that sort of thing.
Dueling Banjos from Deliverance.
Oh yeah.
That's
No, it's just fun though.
yeah,
Kind
but
of
it
like-
does. As
Deliverance,
soon as
isn't
you hear it, you are
It's a happy bit of the
transported
film.
there.
Though. Yeah, but it's a happy bit of the film, isn't it? Where he's duetting with the blind kid. I think the most evocative piece of music from film or TV has to be Laura Palmer's theme.
Oh, 100%.
Can I just say something? I have no
Peaks.
idea what provocative means.
It kind of stirs up thoughts of,
Yeah, and then brings you back to a place.
but it's a very beautiful piece of music. But it's very downbeat.
Haunting. Ah, there we go.
Oh my god.
It's downbeat
I have done
and
that
sort
3
of
times tonight.
uplifting as
Because
well.
we're like that.
We are.
No, it's absolutely beautiful, but that is television, so I'm not sure that is allowed in, Matthew, so I don't think you can pick that
We're talking
one.
about Doctor Who a minute.
We have talked about
No,
TV.
Doctor Who
Buffy.
is Doctor Who, Buffy is Buffy.
Okay.
Actually,
And
Twin
Friends.
Peaks is
But yeah.
totally Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Twin
But
Peaks is
ultimately,
absolutely allowed.
It is beautiful and it is haunting.
Stunning.
You said at the beginning that you already know your song, and I've been waiting.
Okay. The trouble is it makes me think of horror completely, but I'm not actually sure it's been used in a horror film. I mean, it must have been. Killing Moon.
It's in Donnie
Killing Moon.
Darko.
It is incredible.
It is in Donnie Darko,
Yes.
yes. Which, by the way, I also think is touching the genre here, because that's dead scary.
It's
Donnie
really not.
Darko. Oh, it is.
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
Frank is scary.
Frank is scary, yeah, but the time travel stuff with the plane.
So, guys, this has been fascinating, and I think what's quite interesting is how differently we all come to it. What our feelings are of what's scary, and
Could be an ET toy in the corner of your
Oh my
room.
god.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for listening. Join us on our next podcast.
Don't have nightmares.
See you later.